AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Being Human After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and give you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Being Human After Show.
Oh yeah. Bing is for doing, and here we are doing another amazing after show for Being Human, and we're on season 3, episode 9 of Mice and Wolfmen.
Time flies when you're having fun.
It does. We are so close to the end of the season now.
Oh no.
I'm expecting it's going to be 13 episodes once again, and that means we only have 4 episodes remaining.
Oh, that's so sad.
But I'll tell you what, and by the way, you guys listening to this podcast at home or watching us live, that song you just heard is from the Crash Tones, that's Sam Witwer, who plays Aidan's band that he's got. And he made that song, and that album debuted back in 2006. That's his song Alone, which is my favorite song off that album.
Oh, fantastic. I'll have to give it a listen.
Give it this, even just this one. Just download this one at least.
How did that escape me so far?
It's an amazing song.
Yes.
So anyway, I am your host, Sean O, and I'm joined by my catty and lovely co-host.
I'm the infamous Katarina Lee.
And we're going to be talking about amazing topics today. This was a great episode. We're going to talk about Aidan gets the cure.
Yes, well, nobody was surprised that he was going to be cured, but how he was cured was a surprise.
Yes, it was a big time surprise. So if you haven't watched this episode, you guys at home need to check it out. Watch the episode first, then come back to our podcast, okay? Josh and Nora meet a wolf.
Another wolf.
Another wolf.
Another lovely wolf.
Yes, and then Sally eats a mouse. And after that, of course, we'll talk about news and gossip and predictions.
Yes.
So, Aidan gets a cure. Oh my goodness. I didn't see it coming this quickly, actually. Did you, Kat?
I saw it coming, well, this quickly because he was, like the virus, I guess, kills people pretty quickly, so they had to come up with something pretty soon. And really, Aidan is such an integral part of the whole thing that having him lie in bed sick, for too long is just not going to be interesting viewing, so I guess.
Yeah, it wouldn't. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It wouldn't have been. And like we talked about last episode, there was no way that they could have a big ellipse between episode 8 and now episode 9.
No.
Because, dude, he can't survive for that long.
No, he can,
No.
but now he did, and so.
Yeah, and so pretty much the cure for all this.
Would you like to spill the beans, Shono?
I shall. It's wolf's blood. Dude, that was a shocker to me.
Drum roll. It was a shocker to me too. In hindsight, you could probably sort of say, well, it's not obvious. I didn't think of that at all, but it ties it up pretty, because I was wondering how they were going to do it, and it was the perfect solution.
It was perfect because, and I've seen this like in the previous seasons of other shows, like this past season of Dexter, for example. I forgot what exactly it was, but there was something that happened in like way earlier in the season that they used to be the solution for the problems that the characters were in.
Yes.
And it happened with this season with Being Human and Aidan, thank goodness, and it traces back, back to last season when Aidan sucked some of Josh's wolf blood out of him.
Yes.
And he has that whole that convulsing bloody fit like he did again with Aaron.
Yeah.
And it was just fascinating how it all played out and how everything happened. I'm really glad that we got to see him convulse bloody out of his eye sockets again.
That was your favorite part, wasn't it?
It was.
And we got another insight into his former life. We saw the mother of his child that we hadn't seen her before, had we?
Yeah, we have not seen his child, I think, or his wife.
I think we saw his child. Remember when him and Rebecca were adopting that little? And there was like a sort of a
There was a
hint.
flashback.
There was a sort of a flashback and sort of a hint that Aidan may have had a son but it wasn't really explained or anything like that.
I remember that exact scene. It was something like he was in his like obviously old time 1700s attire, and he had his son on like his shoulder or something, or he was like throwing him up in the air, but it never showed the son's face.
Right.
Something like that.
Yeah, there was just like a hint that there may have been, but it wasn't explained.
Yes.
And then it tied in neatly. But now I want to know what happened to that woman.
Yeah, we don't know now, and it's cool that they gave us a little taste of that, and hopefully later on in the season, maybe even in the series, we get to see more of what happened, and maybe it ended in tragedy with her. Maybe he sucked her dry, or he like just lost control one night and killed her.
Yeah.
I wonder what happened to his son.
Yeah.
Maybe he just outlived them, or perhaps he maybe moved on. And he was like, you know what, I can't be around the people I love because they'll notice that, especially the son. He can't tell his son, hey son, I'm a vampire. I'm a blood-sucking monster from your worst nightmares.
Yes.
I don't think his son would take it very well.
He may do. He'd be like, Daddy, you're my hero no matter what. Or he'd be like, cool, I want to be a vampire. That's what would happen today, isn't it?
Yeah, well,
like,
with Kenny. And the kids today, yes, you're right. But kids back then, back in the 1700s, I think they were scared of everything. You know, they were scared of the redcoats coming to get them. They were scared of the boogeymen.
Probably. I guess you're probably right. Yeah.
They were scared of the redskins too. See, they had so many fears. Now we're just like in society, all, ooh, we like these fantastical creatures.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, but anyway, so we got to see that stuff. He also reveals after he gets cured, he reveals it to Blake. He meets with her, and he ends up telling her, like, okay, you have to abide by my conditions, and then I will tell you what the inoculation is.
Yes.
And he tells her that, of course, it's wolf's blood, and she's shocked by it, clearly.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it's that simple.
Yes.
One of the, go ahead.
And then at the end, they all go and attack that wolf.
Yes, that was a great way to end what was happening. You know, pretty much they like balanced the scales once again.
Yes.
As Aidan put it.
Yeah.
So very cool, and you know, obviously they're gonna. You know what's funny though is he didn't tell them. He didn't say, okay, after you drink the wolf's blood, you're gonna be convulsing your own blood outside of your pores and orifices.
That's true. That's true.
That's gonna be a surprise for them, I think.
Yes. But he's saving his, but I don't know how, even though he's told Blake that if she comes near his friends that there'll be trouble, how is he going to control the entire vampire pack not coming near his friends? You know, if there was an emergency situation, they happen to stumble upon Nora.
And they smell that she's a wolf.
Yes.
And how do they even know? They don't even know what she looks like.
No,
they don't.
No, they don't.
They don't know. Well, only Blake does, right? But Blake probably knows what Josh and Nora look like.
Yeah.
Well, she definitely knows what Liam looks like. So perhaps Liam is going to be their new target now.
Perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Perhaps. You know what? There was something else I wanted to bring up. So about the whole vampires attacking that one wolf at the end.
Yeah.
That was totally right on with your predictions. Remember, you kept saying that throughout the season. You've been saying, oh, I bet there's a whole like underground still of vampires and they're not all dead. And dude, we saw like 30 vampires in one place.
Yeah. There we go.
That was fascinating to see that. Anyway, speaking of fascinating stuff, don't forget, fans, to check out our iTunes page and download us. You can listen to that podcast on your daily commute going to and from work. You can listen to it while you're working out, while you're running.
You can listen to it to work, from work, and again at night to fall asleep to our lovely voices.
That's right.
Example.
And we're actually, if you type in, go to your iTunes store and type into the search bar, Being Human. Just type in Being Human. Guess what comes up first now? It's us. It's the Being Human AFTERBUZZ TV show podcast. Bravo, bra freaking oh. So that's amazing. and just give us a review, comment, give us 5 stars. We're already up there. We're like over here. We're the top 10. We're in the top 10 daily iTunes downloads. So I'm really happy for that too.
Of course we are.
Hell yeah, we're bigger than Spartacus now. I'm happy about that. So anyway, it only takes a friend, rate and comment us, and just tell more people about us.
Yes, we love your comments.
We love them, and unfortunately, we didn't get too many comments this week. So let's go ahead and move into. Actually, you know what? We did get a comment. Let me go ahead and look at that one right here. Where was it? It was on the Safari. Oh, okay. Sam Pybon said on our YouTube channel, will you have another guest for recap of Being Human? Yes, we will. We were supposed to have her today, unfortunately. She had to reschedule. Kristen Hager, aka Nora.
Yay!
Yay, she's going to be coming in perhaps next time or maybe sometime at a little bit later of a date. We don't know the exact date yet. I just know that she was supposed to be here tonight and she rescheduled.
On the topic of comments, I'm sure you and we have gotten comments, you know, on Twitter.
Yes.
So my Twitter's at Katarina's Infamy, and you are?
I'm at Sean Austino.
Let's just throw that in there real quick.
Yes, we have gotten a lot of comments, and actually we had a lot of fans' questions that they tweeted at us, and some predictions too. But did you have any tweets that you want to read out from your fans?
No, I didn't get any like specific comments this week, but I have gotten nice, encouraging words.
Oh, okay.
From lots of people, so I just don't have them here right now.
Very good. Well, I got some, and I could read out just a couple of these. So at Being Racine, he's one of our followers, and thank you for tweeting at us, Being Racine. He said, do you think Nora may have overreacted and been unreasonable towards Aidan this whole Aaron situation?
Yes.
I think so too.
100%. Absolutely. I'm with you.
And I want to talk about this when Nora, aka Kristen Hager, comes on our show. But
yeah, she's gonna get it.
She's gonna get it. We're gonna give her a verbal lashing. But because I've seen some of her other films. I've seen her in Aliens vs. Predator, the Requiem, and I've seen her as well in Wanted. That one, like, kind of hero action sci-fi movie. And it's so funny because in those two, okay, one, she's like total protagonist. She's like really friendly. She's a good girl, like kind of a supporting character, good girl, you know? And she has a really steamy, like, scene where she's in the pool. But in the other film, in Wanted, she's a total biatch. Right. She is like so mean to her boyfriend, and she's sleeping with her boyfriend's friend / coworker. Awful. So I think like she's really good at playing both those extremes, and she combines them perfectly in this show.
She does. She does, because although she does overreact to Aidan and stuff, it doesn't come off like she's a bad person. No. It comes off like there's a disconnect, or like she's misguided. It doesn't come off like she's, as you would say, a biatch. Yes.
she's just uninformed.
Yes.
That's all Nora's character really is. She's just getting misinformation. She's being somewhat brainwashed by Liam.
Yes.
She wants to protect Aaron, and then she's not there. She doesn't see what happens to her, you know, when she's poisoning the blood supply.
Yeah.
So anyway, good stuff. We have a lot of other questions. At boy_Marvel, I'm going to ask your questions next week. And same thing with at Rogue9A, asking your questions next week or whenever Kristen Hager comes on.
Can we wait that long?
I think I can. I have the patience.
We'll have to.
We will have to. Anyway, back to our topics. Josh and Nora meet a wolf.
Another wolf, and it's a lovely wolf.
Yes, this time this guy is very nice and pleasant, and he kind of looks like Liam, but if Liam was a hippie.
Yes, true. But you have to be I mean, I have a little bit of apprehension, even though the episode's pretty much shown that he is what he says he is, and he is the good guy. Because Ray at the beginning seemed awfully nice too.
He did. And you know what? Actually, Ray was nice, and then he kind of soured up a little bit.
He was nice, then he was naughty, and then he went nice again.
Yeah.
And then he got killed. That wasn't really very pleasant.
And you know what? He was living a good life until Josh decided to try and kill him. And that was Josh's dark moment, actually.
That was definitely his dark moment, yes.
And he couldn't follow through with it until it put Nora's life in jeopardy.
Yes.
Then he knew he had to do something, and he bashed Ray's brains into the forest floor.
Yeah. So anyway, this new wolf, he is a hippie and a vegetarian.
Yes, which is fascinating. It's a complete contrast to a wolf.
Yes, absolutely. And he did say that his wolf also, together with Nora's, howled at the meat that was hung up from the tree.
That's right. They howled at the rump roast that was up there.
Yes. So I think I missed that there. That must have been something that we already knew about. But does Nora hang it up there to keep herself from running off and killing people?
You know what? This is the first time that I think that they've shown Nora hanging a rump roast when she's changing on her own.
Right.
Usually she's in the storage changing. I'm surprised that she's out this time. because the last time we remember that she changed, she was in the storage with Liam, and Liam dragged her ass out of there.
Yeah.
That was pretty fascinating.
Yes.
But yeah, so this was the first time we've seen Nora actually do that, and actually the first time in a while, in several episodes, that we've even seen her wake up with leaves all over her body.
Yes, true.
So this guy, what was his name? Pete? I think that was his name. He was really pleasant, really nice, had blackberry wine, homemade.
Yes.
I wonder how he did that.
I guess he took some blackberries and put them in some bottles and waited for an unspecified amount of time.
I love any type of wine. I've actually had blackberry wine too,
Right.
and I've had it up north in California in Casa de Fruta, this great place that they have that makes, they have different kind of, Casa de Fruta means house of fruit for those of you who don't speak Spanish. And they have blackberry wine there, raspberry wine, all kinds of different types of wines. I wonder how long Pete took to make his wine. I wonder how long he had to have it ferment and get just right so he could actually drink it. That's pretty interesting.
Yes.
But he was so nice. He brought the crock pot into the house with
yes.
chili.
Yes.
And he even had that funny wiggle. He's like, I don't know if you like chili.
But again, talking about my apprehension, if you think about it, to just show up at somebody's house, even if they said, you know, pop by sometime, to just show up at somebody's house with a crock pot and then expecting to come in and have dinner is like a, I don't know, it would make me sort of a little bit wary, I guess, but maybe I just like to know when somebody's coming to my house.
You know what? Josh was alarmed too.
He was alarmed. That's
much
true.
like you. And Nora was a bit alarmed too because though she did invite him, she didn't say when. She probably said like, oh, sometime in the future you should come by.
Yeah, she was thinking he might pop round for a cup of tea, but she did probably also.
Dinner is a little bit more intimate than tea.
It is, yes.
So he came by, but he
specifies a longer amount of time that you have to have them stay.
That's right. And they were going through hell because Aidan was sick and he was like upstairs, like feverish with lesions all over his face and stuff. Yeah.
But then he taught them to meditate.
And that was one of the key things that he brought into the storyline, the meditation aspect, because he's been out there, he's been a lone wolf for so long. He said that he got turned when he was 14. He's been off on his own for who knows how many years, and he's only 39.
Yeah, so that makes it.
That makes it so that he's
just like
it's
25 years.
Yeah.
I was going, why didn't my math brain wasn't working for a second? I was going, 39 minus 14, what is that? Okay, 25, right?
Yeah,
I'm
25
correct.
years.
25 years. And
And the wolf has just, him being a werewolf has just taken a toll, clearly taken a toll on the way he looks. He said it was like having a heart attack pretty much every month, right? And I gauged that and I was like looking at the math like you and I was like, that's kind of in between dog years and human years. Like it's almost like it's like halfway there, you know. And it's probably because of all the stress that's put upon his body. That's why he's aged so quickly. And I wonder how Josh and Nora are going to look in several years. It's kind of like they're getting almost like a reflection or a mirror into their futures. Pretty fascinating.
Yeah.
So when Josh did the meditation, he was really cautious about doing it first. He didn't want to do the meditation at all.
Nora threw herself right into it. She was right gone, serene, happy, peaceful.
She did.
Josh was a little bit like, what are you doing?
Yeah, but Josh, did Nora say she saw her wolf at all? I don't recall.
I don't think they mentioned that.
I don't think so either, but Josh said he did. And when he saw his wolf, well, he felt it was there the first time.
Yes.
And then, you know, fast forward to the end of the episode, he ends up seeing it.
Yes.
And man, it was like a real wolf. I thought it was going to be a CG one.
Right.
But it was, and he said this himself. He said, "You're beautiful." And I thought the same thing. I was like, wow, it's such a fascinating, amazing creature to see in the wild like that. And it was like a brisk morning kind of, the feeling like it was warm, but it was still cold, and you could see the panting in the air and the condensation sprouting out about the wolf like in the air, and it just looked so cool to see that. And then they ended up timidly running away. So that it was fun.
Yes.
It's like,
because I mean, wolves are more scared of humans anyway than, you know.
That's right.
You always have this idea of, you know, the ferocious wolf, or at least when you're little, I used to, you know, always think there were wolves in my room when I was small, and then my mom would come and turn the light on and it was just some clothes over a chair and stuff. But it was always wolves that scared me, but I guess because of all the stories.
Yeah.
The big bad wolf and this and that, but
they're totally demonized in American stories, but not Native American stories.
right. Yes.
Native American or Aboriginal American, because I've been listening to a lot of Canadian radio. They say Aboriginal, referring to Native Americans.
Oh,
They revere wolves. It's like such a noble animal for them, and there's a difference between a wolf and a coyote. Coyotes are sly and cunning, and they're not to be used as like, oh, this is my power animal, you know?
Right.
It's more about the wolf. The wolf is a strong, noble creature. So, speaking of creatures,
Yes.
Sally ate some creatures, or one creature rather, this
Yeah.
episode. So she finally eats live. And how did you feel when you saw her eat live?
Well, if you've been woken up in the middle of the night as much as I have by my cat bringing a mouse to the door and then me having to watch her eat it, it was a lot less.
Oh my gosh.
It was a lot less gruesome watching Sally just pop it in her mouth.
And she slurped it down like a noodle after it was in there.
She did.
That was pretty funny.
Well, you know, I was sort of watching it going, I wonder how they did that.
Well, I'm sure.
Like without having to put the mouse, because she did actually have to put it in her mouth a little bit.
You know what? The angles that they did with that were they totally tricked the camera, which is perfect. They had her facing the camera, and the mouse she dropped it like behind her mouth. And so it was like kind of to the side of her, and obviously it didn't really go in there. And thankfully the way mice are, or any creature that you hold up by a tail like that, they kind of want to level their body up, so it looked like it drooped right into her mouth when it, obviously it didn't. And I could tell, like, it was really well done, I must say, but I could tell they used CG with the mouse tail going into her mouth and slurping down.
Well, yeah, because then they cut to the behind her, and then it was just in the...
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she ends up eating live. And what was actually funny about that too is, I don't know if you've ever seen a mouse get caught in a trap, but there's no way it would still be whole like that.
No, it wouldn't.
I rember seeing it one time, and it crushes the mouse.
Yes.
And
it's pretty much dead.
Yeah.
Then, or like at least just twitching a little bit, and then mush.
Yeah, it's gross. It's not a pretty sight. I'm glad they didn't show that. That'd be kind of gory.
That's not good for TV.
For this show. It would make me feel sad, because I like mice. I had 2 rats as pets.
Oh.
Yeah. And
I had a mouse once. A little white mouse.
They're cute, right?
Yeah, it just peed all over the place. It was disgusting.
Oh, yeah. They need to mark their territory all the time. But,
yes.
So Sally, she's hiding her rotting corpse, you know, as much as she can. Aidan smells her, but he doesn't know what it is because he's so like messed up from being sick.
Well, you wouldn't assume that either, would you? If you're like your roommate that's pretty normally healthy, clean, lovely girl, and then suddenly you smell rotting, you wouldn't think that it's coming from her necessarily.
No.
I think maybe somebody left the window open and there's something, trash is rolling on that.
Or maybe it's Aidan. Maybe he just doesn't know because he's sick. Maybe he would have thought it could have been him rotting because of his lesions and whatever.
But it was pretty disgusting. Again, I was impressed with when she did the toothbrush and it came out the side. That was pretty,
Yeah, it went right out of her cheek from the inside.
And then losing a tooth, that's one of the scariest things I think that can happen.
Yeah, I tweeted about that when I watched it, and I was having a little tweet conversation with one of our other hosts here, and it was just it was like, I kind of had a feeling that it was coming, but she was so vague about it in her tweets, and I was like, okay, I'm going to watch it right now. And then I see it, and I was eating while I watched it, I was like, with my eyes wide open, like, oh, that happened?
Yeah. Dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Yeah, but she ends up eating, and it totally heals up that hole, and her lesion on her head is gone too. And she goes to visit Nick. She has a conversation with him, and she just blurts it out, I ate a mouse. And he's like, and what did he say?
He said, oh, thank God, you too.
Yeah, and it was like, dude, and the way he was, like, thinking about it, his logic, his thought processes, they have a certain validity. They're like, hey, people eat animals, people eat cows, chickens, fish, like, all the time. We just need to eat it in a different way, and it's okay.
Plus it's actually better, because if you think about the way animals are kept these days, before they're viciously slaughtered and, and the conditions they live in, it's much better to just pick off a little mouse that's perfectly happily running around the kitchen, to just pick it up and just slurp it down. Like, barely feel it.
Yeah, it's probably, it's vermin anyway. It's a pest. Why not get rid of the pest? There's so many, other creatures out there like skunks and squirrels and rats and whatever. Just go ahead and eat them up. It's okay. You're a zombie. Do it. But Sally also brings up a good point when she talks to Aidan later on, and she's like, you know what, I can see where this is going. It's a slippery slope. And if I keep eating like these small things, I'm gonna want bigger things and bigger things to satisfy my hunger, and I don't know when it's gonna end.
Yes, but she's not going to be able to control herself. She's talking about going cold turkey and do what? And just rot away because that's not going to happen.
That's almost like what Aidan wanted to do in the last couple of seasons. Like, I think it was season 1 maybe, or maybe even season 2 in the beginning, where he was still, well, probably season 1. He tried to go cold turkey in season 1, maybe season 2 a little bit. But anyway, it's not pretty, you know, because it's like you're an addict.
Yeah.
Right? So Sally, she just has a little taste of this stuff. Obviously, where Nick is in his addiction, it's not pretty at all.
No.
Because even though he's healing himself, he's healing his lesions, that hunger is overpowering him.
Yes. Well, he's attacking
Zoe. Yes.
Exactly, his girlfriend. He's attacking her. And we were wondering where she'd gone, right?
Yes,
her and Stevie as well. And in the little previews for next week, we saw that Stevie is actually still around too.
I did not see those, but I am glad you brought it up. So he's still around.
He's still around.
I wonder how the hunger is affecting him.
Well, there's a clip I could tell you about.
Yeah, talk about it right now.
Well, basically, you know how they do like scenes from the next whatever, and then there was Stevie, and there's something about him eating, and then he goes, but I'm still hungry, and he turns around, and I think it's to like Josh or somebody, and he goes like he's gonna attack him. But then right then my DVR cut off, so.
Oh. Wow.
So who knows? And but talking about Zoe, I was wondering why Sally didn't share with her, because when she heard about the bite, why she didn't share with her what was happening to her, because she may have indirectly caused not caused her death, but she could have perhaps saved her life if she'd said, listen, don't go back there because he's starving and he's going to try and eat you. Which is basically what she knows is happening.
You are right, Kat. I think the only reason why she didn't tell her was out of pure embarrassment.
Yes.
Because she doesn't want everybody to know that she's falling apart and she's rotting. And she's really sensitive to zombie. Oh, why is that word so trendy? Oh, don't say rotting. Oh my gosh, it's so bad. She's totally sensitive to all that stuff, you know?
But just Zoe, because she's been with her from the beginning, from when she was a ghost. She was the first human that could see her, and they shared a boyfriend, and that whole thing was,
that's right.
Nasty.
They shared an undead boyfriend.
And then they got through the thing where, when Sally was
the Reaper.
Yes. And she was in the salt circle, and Zoe went into her dream to help her, and they've been through so much together. I felt Sally could really have shared that story with her.
They have had some intimate experiences together. They're very close.
Yes.
But, clearly she didn't feel close enough. Maybe it was just her embarrassment overpowered her. It's like having a problem. Like, you don't want to tell somebody your problem right away, like an addict or whatever.
Or you may think that you're going to share it, but then when it comes to it, you just don't.
She was probably going to share it later. She wanted to have some kind of solution with Nick, and that's why she saw him next. And it seemed like everything was okay. And it seemed like because of their conversation and his logic, it's like he had it under control.
Yes.
But clearly he doesn't.
Clearly he doesn't.
Because he attacked her at the end. And they cut it off. Like, that's a pretty big cliffhanger right there.
Yes, yeah.
And I really want to see the next episode really, really
Me
badly.
too.
But, I don't think there are any other connections that we have to talk about other than that. So let's go ahead and did you have anything else to add about the episode overall?
Not at this moment in time.
Then let's move into news and gossip.
AFTERBUZZ TV News.
So I was checking out some photos and whatnot, and Sam Huntington on Twitter, you can find him at Sammy Huntington, and he had some pretty interesting and funny tweets this week. Just within the last day, he tweeted out, "I hate how much I love hash browns." That's pretty funny. I like hash browns too, especially the McDonald's ones.
I'm not a huge fan.
I don't like eating them often, but when they're there, and if like my wife buys them or something, I'm like, okay, I'll have a bite. Just a little bite.
Just a little tiny taste.
Because they taste so good, but I know how bad potatoes are, so that's how. That's how. Yeah.
Potatoes aren't bad.
They are.
No, they're not.
According to the paleo diet, they are.
Oh, the paleo.
I love paleo. I'm on paleo as much as I can.
Yes, because if you eat them raw, they're poisonous. That's why the paleo diet doesn't allow you to. Does it cook anything?
No, yeah, you cook stuff. Yeah, but it's just like the potatoes overall, because they're a tuber, like, they're bad for you.
I don't believe it.
I avoid it.
I don't believe it.
You know, honestly, I feel like I have so much energy without eating potatoes because of the way they're all starchy. It's the starch in them that's bad for you. Anyway, Sammy Huntington, again, at Sammy Huntington, he said, he just tweeted this out, I think it was 2 days ago. Next week, I'll be back live tweeting during #Being Human. Just during the commercials, though, need to raise awareness for Subaru. Nice little joke there, Sammy.
I see.
And there was something else that was funny. Oh, 6 days ago, he tweeted, at Sammy Huntington tweeted out, my eggs smelled like weed this morning.
Oh.
Sorry for the delay. This was a huge, long conversation that was on here. A lot of people were involved in it, but I thought that was pretty funny.
Well, if he says he's live tweeting, I mean, where does he live? Like on our side or on the other side? Like, what time would that even be?
You know what? He may be tweeting during both the feeds, the East Coast and Pacific time, and the Central time too for us. But
I guess we'll have to wait and find out.
We'll find out. You can tweet at him. Remember his his @sign is @SammyHuntington.
Is he still the Han Solo?
He still looks like Han Solo on his picture for his Twitter account.
Very nice.
Funny stuff. Anyway, let's go ahead and move into our predictions.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
I love the lights. Every time.
I like it too. It's kind of spooky.
We can't do that in Studio B, Studio Better.
No.
That's the only thing that Studio Better is not better at.
No, but we can do this.
We can do this.
That always helps.
We can do it with our fingers.
Homemade pyrotechnics.
Those can be so dangerous. Did you hear about what happened? Not to be such a downer, but did you hear about what happened in Brazil? That like a couple months ago.
The band.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And it's happened so many times before with other bands that I don't understand how that can still, you know.
I'm so glad that we don't have pyrotechnics here in the studio. Huh, Marissa?
I agree.
That'll be really expensive. Anyway, my predictions.
Okay, yes.
We will find Zoe either dead or hospital bed next episode. Probably like just like a piece of her arm or something is like eaten off.
Yeah, I would think that's a pretty safe prediction. I predict that Sally will not be able to go cold turkey, but that some other kind of solution will eventually have to be found.
Ooh. And I have something to say about that too. But I wonder, regarding Nick still, I wonder if a bite from a zombie is just as bad as a bite from a vampire or a werewolf, if it can turn people, because he sunk his teeth into her and broke the skin. I wonder, maybe there wasn't fluid exchange. You would think there would be a saliva from him going into her wound. But maybe if it's more severe, it might turn somebody.
Interesting. I hadn't thought of that.
It came to me today before I came to the studio.
Well, you're very smart, Shono.
Oh, thank you, Kat. Eventually, we must see Sally, Aidan, and Josh defeat the witch, Donna. I think it's coming soon.
True. And where is she? Because we know she's coming back.
She's just in her kitchen.
She's just every now and then she just pops up and she says, "Oh, I'm a biatch," and then she goes away again. So yes, you are right. They're gonna have to defeat her because that's. I mean, maybe that's gonna be part of the solution.
Yeah, I think that's the only way they're going to be able to break this curse or spell that that Sally, Nick, and Stevie have on them. What?
If I may.
Yes.
Because on the clips on the trailer for next week, there was also a thing where I think it was Josh and Sally, and they were digging again, and he was saying something about either digging up bodies or burying bodies was getting too commonplace for his taste. Wow. So something...
They're going to dig up another body?
Perhaps to do with that.
Maybe they're going to try and find Ray's body, and his body's not there because the witch took it and used it for some kind of mischievous spells or incantations. Yes. I also feel that Josh will gradually find more peace with his wolf through further meditation.
Yes.
And between this episode and the next. And I think that the next episode is going to be a big ellipse, and we're probably going to have another 3 or 4 weeks that happen between episode 9 and episode 10.
Yes, so perhaps if they learn to live with their wolf, it's not going to be they'll be able to control it, because when they work together, they may not, you know, be randomly killing things anymore. Maybe they'll be able to stay conscious in a way.
Perhaps.
Throughout the world.
And I also feel like Kenny will be turned next episode. I think we're coming around to it
right.
now.
It's going to have to happen soon. Yes.
Well, anyway, thank you guys so much for joining us on our AFTERBUZZ TV podcast for Being Human.
Yes, thank you for being here.
Again, you can follow me at Sean Austin O on Twitter. You can also follow me on Instagram at @itSeanO.
And you can follow me on Twitter at Katarina's Infamy.
Thanks so much, guys, and we'll buzz with you next week.
From
Bye.
Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AFTERBUZZ TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AFTERBUZZTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AFTERBUZZ TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AFTERBUZZ TV or its owners or principals.